Hello. So, have you ever had a challenge with your relationship, the relationship with your mom or your dad or your husband or your wife? Guess what? Today, I'm going to give you the number one secret in order to resolve all of those challenges within your relationship. Yeah, right after this.
Hi, I'm Arlene, host of the television talk show Ask Arlene, which airs on Thursdays at 6:30. And as a business consultant and life coach, I help you to move forward in your business, project, or endeavor. So if you always wanted to write a book, but you just haven't seemed to get started, or you always wanted to 10x that business that you already have, expand it to the next level, you know exactly what you need to do, but you just haven't done it? Well, I've already purchased all the courses, read all the books, the Tony Robbins, all sorts. I have several degrees, including a master's degree and credits toward a doctorate. I've sat with and met celebrities and done the networking. And what I realized is what I really needed was a mastermind group of people working toward my project, my business, or my endeavor. So what I've done is met with coaches and met with experts and put them together to work on your project. So join us today for our mastermind networking group. I'll see you there. Click the link below and join us.
Hi, as I said, have you been having a challenge in your relationships? Okay, some of you have had a problem or a challenge with your family, your mom or your dad, and you think, well, if I get straight A's, it'll fix it. Or with my husband, if I, lose 10 pounds, it'll fix it. Or if I change this or change that, it will fix it. But I'm here today to tell you what the true answer is to dealing with those challenging relationships, even with your boss. This is a way to fix it. Well, number one is that they are not going to change. Okay, so grandma and grandpa and your husband and your boyfriend have been that way for as long as they've been that way. Okay, so chances are they're going to be who they are. But there is an answer in order to fix that relationship. And the answer is in our emotions. Okay, it's in our emotions. They say that after the age of 35, 9 out of 10 of the decisions that we're making are based on what has happened in the past. We're not making new decisions. Isn't that crazy, guys? We're not making decisions based on what we're seeing now. We're making those decisions based on what happened in the past. So you're triggered because they said something that reminded you of Jim or Janet or Charlie or some other boss that you had. And so you're responding in the same way that you responded to that person. Okay, and it could be your husband, and it could be a simple thing, but you're responding in the same way that you did to Charlie, who was a huge problem in your life. Okay, and vice versa. That's the same thing that your mom is doing. Your mom wants to love you, and you want to love her, but you're finding that even though the two of you want to find peace, you're butting heads. And sometimes it's your boss, and your boss really doesn't want to find peace with you, or so you think. But in actuality, we all want peace. Okay, we all want the same things. And the secret is in our emotions. So how are we going to fix that? How are we going to fix that? Well, first of all, step one is we must decide. Okay, there's this word, it's called decisions or decide. And the root word is from this word called kaidir, which means to cut. And it means we cut off all other options. So there is no option for us whereby we don't resolve this relationship. So a lady tells a story, and it's her mom. Okay, and she loves her mother dearly, and she really wants to have a relationship with her mom, but she hasn't had a good relationship with her mom since she left for college because she's grown and she's changed and now she's been exposed to so many more things that the ideals and the concepts that mommy had and that mommy taught her, they no longer fit. She no longer fits into the box. So mom can't relate to her and she can't relate to the mom, and the two of them butt heads. So is mommy going to change? No. Is she going to change? No. But there is something called emotions. So she has now decided that she is going to get along with mom. And so the first thing to do is to make a decision on what you begin to focus on, okay? If we decide that mom is going to conduct herself the way that she's always conducted herself, we can decide on what to focus on. So we can focus on when mom explodes and be totally upset and lose it and leave at Thanksgiving dinner and never come back. Or we can decide to focus on the good, the pure, the clean, the things about mom that we can work on, that we can work with, okay? Open that door, focus on that, and remember the principle that I taught you in this book, 10 Secrets to Overcoming Fear, Getting Unstuck, and Living Your Best Life, which is that whatever we focus on grows. So right now you're looking at the boss as a challenge, that boss on your job, and you're looking at it as if it's insurmountable. But if we began to narrow our focus and begin to find the things that we can work with, find the things that actually do bring life and do illuminate us in that relationship, then we can begin to build on that. Remember this secret as well. People like people who are like them. People like people who are just like them. And the secret is not to change who you are, but to decide that we're going to focus on the areas that we have that are just like them and begin to illuminate those areas. The more we talk about those areas, the more we invest in those areas, the more they grow and the better our relationships become, till eventually what we're focused on is the good part and not so much on the poor part, and the good part begins to grow. So what do? If it's your mom or your dad or your brother or your sister, when you call that person now, because before you weren't calling them, you weren't talking with them other than arguing with them about the issue. Now when you call with no strings attached, and you just focus on the areas that you can discuss. Yeah, guys, focus on the areas that you can discuss. Stop talking about how they wanted you to pay for college and you didn't pay for it, or you wanted them to, do something wonderful and great that they refused to do in the past, and just focus on the thing that you can find or that you can remember that brought you life and illuminated you and brought you a sense of purpose, okay? Those are the things that you're going to focus on. Those are the things that you're going to discuss. And remember, it's about making a decision and focusing on the things that you know are going to facilitate this relationship, okay? Especially if it's a marriage, guys. It's just as easy to go up as it is to just say, I can't be bothered anymore. But guess what? People are people. So the same way that person has challenges and things that they're not going to change, the next person that you find, they also have challenges and things and areas in which they're not going to change. So there's a saying that goes, love the one that you're with. Begin to make the relationship work with the one that you're with. So secret number one, focus on the good, the pure, the clean, the things that are going to build the relationship. And then make sure that you're reaching out to them in terms of those particular areas. And if it's a boss, it's a business relationship, this is the number one tip, guys. You can get along with any boss and every boss and be at the top of your organization. If you find something that the boss likes or the boss enjoys discussing that you also have an interest in. This may sound crazy, but I literally went to Lake Tahoe and went skiing just so that I could be able to discuss with my group, which was my boss and his crew, about how Lake Tahoe skiing was amazing. Before I couldn't talk about it. I didn't have that in common, but I knew that was something they were interested in. Now I can join the conversation and I can, elaborate on it just like everybody else. Okay, secret number 2. Let's go to it. And it's right below us here. The second secret is make a decision about what things mean. It depends on what you think it means. So you can think that the relationship that you have with your mom, your dad, your sister, your brother, your uncle, your cousin is catastrophic because you don't get along with them and you don't like what they've said and you don't like what they're sharing. Or you can decide that this is who Uncle Larry is and this is only a portion of his personality and this means very little, okay? Or my husband really has a problem with XYZ. but I'm going to put it over here and decide what that means to me. So I can decide that this challenge in the relationship is insurmountable and it's huge and I cannot handle it. Oh my God, I can't deal with it. That was one of my favorite things to say. Oh, I can't. And my kids laugh at me because I would literally say that. Oh, I can't. Or we can make a decision and decide that this is a small portion of the relationship and it does not mean what I had decided in the past that it meant. Okay, so I love this person. I want to build a relationship with this person. I want it to grow. I want us to grow together and be more and become more. So this situation has to become small. It has to mean less to me than all of the other areas in which we're doing well. Okay, secret number 2. Secret number 3, in terms of our decision-making skills and our deciding, and it's right below, is that we make a decision on how we react. So I cannot control what happens to me. I cannot control what comes to me, but I can control how I respond and how I react. And I told you that people determine after the age of 35 how they respond to things based on what happened in the past. So if I know this thing triggers Charlie, or it triggers Anna, or it triggers Mary, then I have to be aware and decide that I am not going to say that thing that triggers them. And so I can hear somebody saying, well, why do I have to decide to make a decision to offset their triggers? Well, because we've already decided that we're going to make the relationship work. And we keep in mind that this same boss, okay, that has a challenge, is also going to be a boss at another place. So when you leave this job and you go to the other job, you're going to have a problem with that boss too, because there's something in this relationship that you need to learn. There's something in this relationship that needs to be highlighted, and that's why you're in it. That's why you're experiencing these challenges. I don't believe that there are any accidents, but people come into our lives to show us ourselves and to teach us things. So the first thing, as I said, is making the decision, but now we're going to determine how we react, how we respond. I cannot control what I think. I cannot control how I feel, but I can control how I respond and how I act. So many times in my situation, people have said to me, oh, Arlene, you're too nice. Oh, Arlene, you're way too accommodating of other people. But it's about determining what value does what they say have on my life or have on your life. Okay, if mom is hurting and you know mom was abused as a child, and you're looking at the situation from her perspective, then when you tell her or make your demands on her, she's evaluating that based on her past, okay, and responding to you as if you're that person that caused the abuse, or you have something to do with that person who caused her angst or pain, which is totally impossible, which is totally not true because you weren't even there. Maybe you weren't even born at the time when she got upset, but you're determining that the relationship is important enough to you for you to decide to work on it. And this thing about decision making, this thing about cutting off all the other options is so powerful. Okay, we have to determine ahead of time. So don't wait till we get in the situation, because you remember the same argument you had last week is the same argument that's going to show up again. So we're determining ahead of time how we're going to react and how we're going to respond to the situation. So if you need to go into your private closet and have a dialogue with yourself or in front of the mirror and say, when this person says this, I'm going to say that. When this person says that, I'm going to say this, and walk it through. Okay, visualize the conversation and determine how you are going to react. That has helped me immensely. And like I said, in this book, I've talked about situations and problems and circumstances that have happened in my own life. I'm not telling you about something that I read or I heard or I saw. This stuff works, okay? And then from there, yeah, it's scripted initially, but at least that opens the door. And from there, we can move forward with a better, brighter relationship. Okay, secret number 4, in terms of making that decision and making things work. Make a decision not to quit. Okay, so there are some relationships that are more valuable than others. All right, and as I'm suggesting to you, we're only talking about relationships that you feel are important and impactful in your life and you need to make it work. Once we've decided that it has to work, do not quit. Okay? Many a thing has been achieved with people who've decided they're just not going to quit. All right? And I can tell you story after story. I've told you the story about how I was looking to get a ticket to the inauguration. Okay. And I decided in my mind that I was going to find a ticket. I didn't know how I was going to have a ticket, how I was going to get the ticket, but there was a relationship. Okay. And me and that person didn't have such a great relationship where I thought, wow, the congressman is going to give me a ticket. But I did have a relationship with somebody else. And I was able to use that relationship in order to segue into this relationship. Okay. So decide that we are not going to quit. There's nothing more valuable than that, okay? Because you are powerful, you are amazing. And the way that you make your way in the world is by making decisions and standing by the decisions that have been made. So many of you are saying, well, I'm not sure. Even if this relationship is of value, and if I want to be in this relationship with this person, well, I mean, that is something that you need to decide. But like I'm sharing with you, everybody has challenges. Every relationship has challenges. And so when you leave this relationship and you jump into another, chances are that person has challenges too. I have a friend, and I'm not going to mention her name, I almost did. And she has a mother that she doesn't get along with and a father that she doesn't get along with. So she adopted a new set of parents. Okay. And she calls them her parents. But guess what? Those parents passed away. So she's stuck with the same parents that she started with, and now she has to work through the relationship. And as a matter of fact, she lives in the house now with the mom. So I'm sharing with you and suggesting to you, make a decision today, okay? Stop and think, what relationship do I have that I need to resolve? What relationship am I in where there's conflict? What relationship do I need to maintain? Okay. And it could be an in-law. Guys, we always have challenges with our in-laws, but because you have that relationship with your spouse, you want to have a good relationship with your in-laws. Okay. Decide that you're going to make it work and you're not going to quit. Okay. There's so many stories of people who can tell you how they started out with a poor relationship and then now they love the person. The person is the best thing since sliced bread. Oh my gosh. There was another story of these two women. One was the baby mama and one was the current wife. And of course, they were butting heads. There was no working together. They were butting heads. But today, because they made a decision that they were going to work together, as a matter of fact, the husband got sick and they decided that they had their kids to raise. They decided now that they're working together and raising their kids together. You can too. You can fix this relationship, okay? And if we learn to work with people and fix our relationships, then this will impact our businesses. This will impact our jobs. This will impact our lives and change who we are, change the trajectory of our lives. Okay, so what is the next one? Step number 5. Make a decision, okay, to wait and see. This may be another route. This may be another avenue. So instead of saying to yourself, well, this person hates me, or this relationship is over, or I can't deal with this, or like I say, oh, I can't, make a decision to say, I'm going to wait. I'm going to put it on hold rather than deciding that I'm done and I'm not going to talk to this person anymore. I'm not going to be with this person anymore. And this book, 10 Secrets to Overcoming Fear, Getting Unstuck, and Living Your Best Life After COVID-19 is really key because many people lost relationships during this COVID-19 season. Many people made decisions based on temporary circumstances. So you were locked in the house with this person, or you were locked in a situation with this person and you decided that you really don't want to be with them. Or you were on lockdown with this person and you decided, wow, I really want to be with this person. But it was based on temporary circumstances. And now the world has opened up and you see all of these different things, all of these shiny objects, and you're like, listen, when we make a decision, it's important to cut off all the other options. And it's also important sometimes to wait and see, to evaluate how we want to move forward with this decision. Decisions are important and decisions shape our lives. What does this decision mean to me? Okay, maybe you can't decide right now. Take a minute and wait. Another story. A young lady was told by her father that her boyfriend is not her husband and he's not the one for her. Okay? And she had an opportunity to make a decision based on what was said, or she could just hold back and wait and see. And sometimes, guys, we just need to wait and see. Let it be. Ride the wave, as they say. Okay? Let's just see what happens, okay? And I'm going to give you the last few secrets as soon as we come back in terms of making a decision and how to make things work, how to make these relationships work. We'll be right back after this break.
Hello, I'm Arlene McLaren. I'm a life coach and a business consultant. I help you to move forward in your business project or endeavor. So I'm reminding you, you can go where you want to go. You can do what you want to do. And you can be who you want to be in the world. Today, I'm in a beautiful scenery in Napa County with the beautiful water and the beautiful mountains. And what I'm saying to you is you can live your best life. So I have a 5-day, 3-step program for you, free of cost, to help you to live your best life. Please click the link below and start your 5-day course. That's my gift to you so that you can begin to live your best life. Those dreams that you always had, those goals that you've always had, those things that you've held in your heart and in your mind that you just haven't yet manifested, we'll take this 5-day program and let's begin getting you on that journey. Thank you. Bye-bye. See you there.
Hi, and welcome back. So, the last few things in terms of decision making is that we really, really, really need to look at what is and decide to turn it around. Okay? Like I said to you before, regardless of the situation that you're in right now, you do have the ability to turn it around. Okay? Rome wasn't built in a day. And even though you may be here, there are people who've been in worse situations with people who have really done them wrong. Joyce Myers tells a story about how her father raped her on a multiplicity of occasions. She was abused as a child by her father, and her mother never spoke up on her behalf. And yet, in the end, toward the latter part of their lives, both of them lived in the house with her. She took care of her father before he died. I mean, that's an amazing story of love and compassion and how you can turn a relationship around. So if she could turn the relationship around where her father eventually apologized and said that he didn't realize that he was really hurting her as much as he was, then your relationship can change too. There are people who've been on the verge of divorce and they felt like, oh, this is it, this is over. And then they turned around and their relationship came back. Well, I'm always talking about success. I'm talking about how you win at the game of life. One of the key secrets is we have to have good relationships in order to win at the game of life. This is everything. And so for many of you who are like, oh, I believe in God and God makes things work. Well, for the most part, he doesn't come down in a puff of smoke and make things happen. He makes things happen through relationships, through other people. So this thing of developing good relationships with people is absolutely essential. Now, do we innately feel a kin and feel love and joy with every single person that we meet? Well, no, obviously not, Arlene. You know, we don't feel that peace with everybody. But what if you had the ability to get along with everybody? Who would you be? You'd be Bill Clinton. You'd be running the world. Okay. They said that one of the key things that that gentleman had, which also may have been one of the reasons why he had as many challenges as he did with the ladies, is that he had this ability to get along with people, this ability to work with people. And they say you could be in the room with him and there'd be a ton of people in the room with him, but you felt like it was just you and him. And that's absolutely true because I experienced it. Okay. And then right now, if you look at what's going on in our country, they say, well, there's such a challenge between the Democrats and the Republicans, and they're not working together because they're at each other's throats. But what if they were able to decide to get along? Where would our country be? So just use that as a microcosm. That's a big thing out here. But what about in your home? What if you and your mom and your dad and your sister and your brother and your cousins and your uncles could get along? What if you could get along with your boss? Would you get that promotion? Would you be the manager? Would you be the supervisor? Could you move up? Yes, that's why we're talking about this today, guys. I'm using your mom and your dad and your boyfriend and your husband, but I'm really talking about how we move up in life, how we win at the game of life. Relationships are everything. So you can have a good relationship with the people that you choose to have a good relationship with. It's about mindset. It's about focus. It's about number 3, 4, and 5, deciding, okay, in order to win, okay, because you have a goal and your goal is that you want to do well. And people promote people that they like. People promote people who are like them. People want to work with people who are like them. So in the last minute or so, I'm going to give you the last one, which is basically about your destiny. Your habits determine who you become. Okay, your destiny is determined by your decisions. So examine every possibility, okay, within that relationship before you decide to be done with it. All right. And many of you have kids. There was a story that I heard of Franklin, who was a gospel music singer, and he had a fight with his son. And the son posted the argument online where he was cursing his father, where the father was cursing out the son and using foul language, even though his whole brand is about him being a godly man and supporting family and love and peace. So he posted it. And did it impact his career? Yeah, it impacted his career. Could he have done without that? Absolutely. So I'm suggesting to you that this concept of relationships, build that relationship with whoever it is that you need to build it with, okay? Because that is what is going to determine your life. That's what's going to determine the success that you do have or that you don't have in your life. It will determine your trajectory, the relationships that you build, the relationships that you forge. So some people say, well, how did you move up in your career? How did you move up? Guys, everything is relationships. Especially, I was in a background of politics, and then I went from that into being a Chamber of Commerce president. And I've shared with you guys many times that, I ran a Chamber of Commerce that was full of, multi-million-dollar successful business owners, CEOs. Okay, so a room full of CEOs, and I'm the one that's helping them to determine how this organization is going to run. Okay, so everybody's a winner. How do you get into a room with people who are all accustomed to being in charge and get them to work together? That is a feat. So this concept of relationships and building relationships is absolutely essential, regardless of who you are, where you are on the totem pole. If you'd like to move up in it, learn how to do better with your relationships. Destiny is determined by your decisions. So examine every possibility before you dismiss people. And also, you never know where people will be in the future and how they may be able to help you. So if you forge good relationships with people here, those are the same people that you meet on the way up as well as meeting on the way down. So thank you so much for spending this time. I hope that you'll utilize these tools, tips, and techniques. Thank you to our team. Thank you, Bradulin. Thank you, Justin. And thank you, our listeners, because without you, we wouldn't have a show. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Hi, I'm Arlene, host of the television talk show Ask Arlene, which airs on Thursdays at 6:30. And as a business consultant and life coach, I help you to move forward in your business, project, or endeavor. So if you always wanted to write a book, but you just haven't seemed to get started, or you always wanted to 10x that business that you already have, expand it to the next level, you know exactly what you need to do, but you just haven't done it? Well, I've already purchased all the courses, read all the books, the Tony Robbins, all sorts. I have several degrees, including a master's degree and credits toward a doctorate. I've sat with and met celebrities and done the networking. And what I've realized is what I really needed was a mastermind group of people working toward my project, my business, or my endeavor. So what I've done is met with coaches and met with experts and put them together to work on your project. So join us today for our mastermind networking group. I'll see you there. Click the link below and join us.
You care for the house, the kids, and our future. My Shiro's day is never done. So let's save a little more now so we can create the retirement we want. A free 3-minute online chat can give us the personalized tips we need. Visit aceyourretirement.org.
Name some things I'll be without you, good. Stop the growth, I bet you think you could. Said you gon' leave me, man, I wish you would. Yeah, I'm different, so I'm misunderstood. So I'ma always be good. Said I'ma always